Aquarius, we're going to be doing your May Practically Soulful reading. If this is your first time here, my name is Ali from Indigo Ascension. I am an energy healer and intuitive reader. You can find out a little bit more about the work I do in the links below to my Facebook page and my website address. Practically Soulful monthly readings are designed to ground down the higher wisdom, higher consciousness, higher knowing into the everyday realities that we find ourselves in. I also do fortnightly readings targeted to the zodiac, so they are more specifically about, that you might resonate with more than just your sun sign. You might identify with your rising sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign. But the Practically Soulful readings are essentially about your sun sign, yeah? So if you were born with the sun in Aquarius, that is your soul path, I feel. That is your soul lessons, your wisdoms that you are integrating. So you're better off watching your sun sign reading when it comes to Practically Soulful. Happiness is on the bottom of the deck there. We had a couple of ones wanting to jump out, so I thought I'd take a look at those. Working with the energy of adversity, happiness. Arriving to a point of happiness after adversity is always a good thing, Aqua. You guys have had some big readings lately. And I think I've said it in everyone. You guys are bringing in this new energy of the age of Aquarius, yeah? Big task, big role. I've accidentally pulled two here for the top, so I'm going to put them at the top. And that's actually a very interesting combination. Okay, moving forward, an old you, old world, old self is definitely coming to end. You are going through Scorpio energy when the death card wants to show up in the future. So I do see in many ways you are getting raw and real with yourself. You're experiencing, navigating freedom versus adversity, perhaps even freedom versus loneliness, freedom versus playing an old role, running an old storyline. You are getting raw and real with yourself and getting honest. You might be discovering deeper truths within a connection, within an experience, coming across honesty in yourself and in others. And the key message when the honesty card does show up is just because others have not been honest with you. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself, okay? So when we discover betrayal, when we discover deeper truths, something that awakens us to the honest facts of a matter, person, motivations, intentions, whatever the case may be, it is within that space that we can decide, I do see you're dealing with energies of blame here, feeling lonely. Your trust has been questioned and shattered because you're crowned by imagination and trust. So when I first saw that, I do want to say, trust your intuition. The imagination card shows up as an alternative to intuition to me. And this is about trusting. Maybe there was something here you knew deeply anyhow, and you did not follow your intuition, is what I want to say. You're coming out of a period of loneliness, whatever that may mean for you. We can be in a house full of people and still feel lonely. We can have connections and partnerships our whole life and still not feel like we are seen for who we are. We can still feel alone within connections, yeah? There's this energy of loneliness that you're coming out of. You must be getting honest with yourself and starting to see yourself in a whole new way of how you've allowed yourself the freedom to truly connect or not. And perhaps there's been many choices all along the way where we've disconnected in many ways, and our choices have made us feel lonely. I do want to say there's this death and rebirth energy thanks to the death card. It's very very Scorpio influenced, okay? There's a rebirth happening within you. I know, right? Like how many rebirths, ascensions and awakenings and death and rebirths can we go through? We're constantly evolving, we're constantly shedding, constantly transforming. Maybe this relates in particular to a key connection in your life that has come to an end. Maybe this relates to a key chapter in your life, no matter how small or big, when karmic doors shut, doesn't have to be a massive 10-year cycle. It can be just a chapter that you're experiencing that you thought would be one thing for the last 5-6 months, and it's going to be something else entirely. A part of yourself, a small part or a big part of yourself is coming to a close here and wanting to ascend to that next level, okay? I do see here you are processing energies of blame, maybe blaming self, maybe blaming another. I feel like this blame is internal though. When I I see these two together, because I feel like I keep hearing I should have known, I should have done something. When I see it is crowned by imagination and trust. And I think the only reason you didn't act on your intuition was because of fear. Okay? Because you fear that you couldn't be of service. Maybe you've always played a role where you play a certain role of service. I feel good when I can help others. Maybe this is in relation to someone that doesn't need your help. Underneath all this is the energy of success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love, and I think that's what's ultimately coming to an end here. How much you've allowed yourself to experience true freedom in the realms of love, intimacy, connection, because this is about connection, coming out of a time of loneliness, because I'm connected, but I'm still not feeling connected, yeah? I'm getting honest and raw and real with myself, and this could definitely have happened in a conversation. I'm wanting to experience true freedom. Maybe your desires for freedom have distanced you and kept you from genuine connection, because you've labeled connection as something that hinders freedom. But that belief has always led you to loneliness anyhow, yeah? And there's so many ways I could interpret these actually. But what I keep hearing is that I should have known, I should have acted. I'm blaming myself on some level, but very much I don't want to discount the fact that if we've only just found out the truth about something, it's very human instinct to blame the other for not being honest with ourselves. We're blaming the other for not being honest with us, yeah? And something's coming to an end here. Okay, so then they're definitely, I'm not going to discount the fact that there is betrayal energy here, but you intuitively knew it. Maybe I'm speaking to Aquariuses that are processing this from another point in the timeline. It doesn't have to be happening now. You're really putting a death to that old trauma bond, is what I keep hearing. Because betrayal, ultimately, it affects many, many things. Not just our concept of self, worthiness, esteem, but it affects our relationship with our intuition. It affects our relationship with faith. Yeah? 3 of Cups. 6 of Swords. You're moving away from a third-party situation. You are moving away from a situation that felt deceptive. There's the 3 of Cups and the 7 of Swords here. Very practically speaking, you are moving away into more peaceful. But what you're moving into, the choices you're making, I'm going to read this in 2 different ways just because of the positions of the cards, Aquarius. You have chosen to move away from something that felt like a coming together of family, soul family, a relationship that felt like it could be family, harmony, celebration, joy, something that made you feel joyous. You have decided to travel away from it. In doing so, it's activated some shadow energies of the 7 of Swords. Maybe you wanted to be chased, followed. Maybe you truly didn't want to leave. But I also, the bigger frequency that I'm picking up on is that you are successfully moving away from third-party energy and deception. If you've made some recent choices because you've just faced this and you've got this coming into the future, you are definitely moving away from deceptive energy. Yeah, you're definitely closing a chapter thanks to the Wheel of Fortune, and it was always about you toying with this idea of not wanting to take a cup because it perhaps it would impede on your freedom, wouldn't take a cup of love. So the 4 of Cups talks about feeling nervous, it's that fence-sitting energy, not wanting to take an opportunity. But the beauty of this deck, in all other tarot cards, he's not even looking at the cup that's being offered by the divine. But in this card, he is. I'm talking to Aquariuses that are now seeing the gift, the divine gift, and the opportunity that was or has recent. As much as it feels like betrayal energy, I do want to say the actual gift, there's a gift that you're revealing and unpacking at the moment. It will prove to be a gift. Or there was a gift that you missed and didn't, You can interpret that in a couple of different ways, Aquarius. You missed the gift that was an opportunity for you, and thus the wheel of time turned. Or as you will see in time, that this is truly a gift, no matter how cloudy it looks now, no matter how hurtful it is. Maybe you are putting an end to a cycle of an old pain, betrayal, dishonesty, a chapter of deceptive behavior that you experience within a connection, because ultimately it was a gift in your spiritual journey, your life path, to lead you to genuine reciprocity and equal exchange. And it had to happen. Okay, so it had to happen because it eventually leads you to genuine reciprocity and equal exchange. Now, you know, we can spend years in a connection that is imbalanced, unequal. We can feel lonely on some levels. We can fall into the trap of playing a certain role because that's what was modeled to us as a child. That was modeled to us by society, that's what you do. That's just what happens. But I feel like I'm talking to some Aquariuses that this had to happen because you had to see what equal reciprocity looks like. Equal exchange. Yeah? There's so many storylines that I'm seeing from this. You know, this is a story about a marriage that was lost, a connection that was lost that could have led to marriage. That offered something tangible, but we are only seeing the gift of that now. Wow, first time I've noticed it, that there's actually a peacock in this, in the Page of Cups. The gift of the peacock is the all-seeing eye. I feel like I'm talking to Aquariuses that are seeing a truth after the fact. They're dealing with a loss after the fact. And that also happens when we're reviewing our dynamics and roles we've always played. Yeah, when we do a timeline review, a healing review back into the past of how we've learned about connection, trust, loneliness versus freedom. There's a death here. There's an ending of an old version of you, an old storyline. There was a massive karmic wisdom gained. You were having an aha moment. The loss of a marriage, the loss of a connection that felt like marriage taught you a lot, yeah? There was something tangible in it for you to truly see truth, for you to experience a deeper level of honesty with self. Did you want it anyway? Did you lose it because you played a role that you've always played and intuitively not known how to not play is what I'm feeling, Aquarius. This is about heart chakra stuff. Look at the color of the emeralds. There was a heart awakening here for you. This death and rebirth energy can ultimately upgrade our heart chakra, our heart's wisdom, yeah? The Eight of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Ten of Pentacles. You're really wanting to work on something here. This connection speaks of not just financial success. It's the dowry card. It's the Ten of Pentacles. It's the dynasty. Wanting to work on a connection that has spiritual guidance, spiritual connection at its head. Wanting to work on something that is guided by spiritual principles, deeper spiritual knowing. Wanting to commit to leaving that as my legacy, creating a legacy that looks like that. I also am talking to Aquariuses that, you know, this focus, this death of the old you is ultimately even impacting on, I can interpret this as a career reading as well in many ways. You are moving away from what you thought was a fun celebration, a good coming together. You ultimately discovered deceptive behaviors, experiences within that workplace, receiving money that is owed to you. Experiencing financial loss because of a marriage. There's a story here, and in this story it might have spanned 6 years, Okay, it might have kicked off 6 years ago, 6 to 7 years ago feels relevant. The shaping of your career in the last 8 to 10. I'm picking up on several frequencies here, guys. Sorry, like I feel like I'm speaking to Aquariuses that have been the instigator of dishonesty, if you like, and are now experiencing the karmic balancing of that. All right, every choice we make does come with heavy consequences, and that is the truth. Yeah, because we might be acting out of fear, we might be acting out of impulse, but I feel like there were choices that you made, Aqua, that you are now seeing very clearly that it was an opportunity missed. And there was deceptive behavior perhaps on your part, deceptive choices made on your part, that it wasn't until that turned a little, that situation evolved a little, or in hindsight you're seeing it in a whole new way. It might be a connection, it might be a workplace, it might be a career, the way in which you engaged with your career, being deceptive with self. I'm not really happy, I'm just going to do it for the money. But really you want a career that's going to fundamentally meet your spiritual levels as well. You want to follow your soul path and not just do a job because it's money, is the other storyline I'm picking up on. Okay, but I feel like I said, I feel like I'm picking up on an Aqua that had made past decisions that they now need to put to bed. It is time to let go of the guilt, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. It is time to put that to bed, to let it go. You learned a valuable lesson, yes, which ultimately shapes what you desire. When it comes to connection, you are looking for that spiritual essence and knowing that comes with connection. When it comes to your 10 of Pentacles, as much as I perhaps thought freedom looked like this and it come packaged like this, what it truly feels like to me is this. It meets me on all levels, yeah? You learnt that by a loss, through a loss. I'm also speaking to Aquas that have been on the receiving end of that, where deception toward you, deceptive behavior that you chose to move away from, third party energy you chose to move away from, was ultimately a gift because it led you to where you are, which is a divine union, a spiritually led, a spiritually guided connection that you genuinely want to work on. You at least want to work on finding that in your life. This is about freedom, getting honest with ourselves, how we've always felt lonely within connections when it comes to intimacy, because at the core of our belief about connection is we did not want to feel tied down. We thought this looked like X, Y, Z, but we are the navigators of our own path. It doesn't matter what our parents or grandparents told us family, relationships, marriage needs to look like. There's a marriage theme here, guys. Like, there was a loss of a marriage type relationship that taught me a lot, if I'm looking at this as an Aqua, because I was then offered something tangible. I was offered something tangible that was a beautiful gift. And when we're going through shadow experiences, it's so hard to look at them as a beautiful gift. Yeah, it's not until hindsight that ending had to happen so that I could come across this, or my deeper beliefs about wanting this, yeah? There's an apology here, the Page of Cups wanting to express an apology about our fears or about fears. The last 2 years are relevant. About a journey over the last 2 years, seeing myself and my experience from a whole new way. Aquas, you might be receiving an apology, you might be wanting to give an apology, take what resonates. There is an emotional walking away here, a walking away from deeply held emotions. This is death and rebirth of the emotional body. You didn't quite get your 10 of Cups, so you walk away. Yeah, but that is a deep release of old emotions that ultimately get in the way of what you're seeking. This is what you're seeking. The 8 of Coins, the 10 of Coins, and the Hierophant. This is wanting to work on or work towards a spiritually aligned union, a dynasty. The Ten of Coins is the dynasty. This is not just someone that I want to marry, but someone that I can build a life and a business with, thanks to the Eight of Coins. You know, it's a partner on every level that is ultimately successful. Just look at all those coins, like abundance plus. If you have lost a connection recently, you are moving towards this. Or you are seeing a connection that you walked away from is this. I'm going to clarify that. Because someone's assessing here. The Seven of Coins, I'm in assessment mode. I can be in assessment mode about the way in which I've connected my whole life. I can be in assessment mode about the kind of connections I've attracted into my life. And how different that is to what I truly want on a deeper level. The Empress card. Sure, this is a woman that has all things, all qualities. You know, this could be you, this could be another. The Empress is a fruitful connection. It is fertile. It can mean pregnancy, but it doesn't have to be. It's a relationship connection that can grow something. This symbolizes a time of great fertility in your life. When you release these heavier emotions heavier emotions and emotional disappointment with the Five of Cups. No more juggling. There's two sides of you. There is a part of you that's wanting to step forward into the new, wanting to move forward. And there's another part of you that's still got your foot in yesterday's chapter. The Lover's card, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands. Wow, the Tower, Knight of Swords. I can keep going. The Lover's card is showing up for quite a lot of the signs because we are definitely in Venus retrograde, which we are reviewing our timeline and all the lessons we've learned when it comes to love. 4 planets are in retrograde Aqua this month, all right, and that will go all the way through till the end of the year, depending on what planet. Saturn, Pluto, Venus, and Jupiter, okay, are all in retrograde. The Lovers is all about divine love, twin flame energy, the one you want to be with because it meets you on all levels. You are looking for that, wanting that. You are leaving and walking away from deceptive behavior or relationships and dynamics that always felt like you had to be deceptive, or you were coming across personalities that were deceptive or making you feel like you were an option. Feeling afraid to take the cup of love that was offered to you because of not only that, past pain, but because of modeling and your views of connection, relationship, love, freedom. I feel like I'm talking to an Aqua that's lost something here, but they've learned, they've integrated a deep wisdom, and that's both sides of the coin. Whether you chose to be deceptive and you are now learning and seeing things from a higher view, seeing that connection from a higher view, seeing your path and everything you've learned about why you do that. I'm also talking to an Aqua that has had that done to them, and they're now seeing that I will easily recognize a connection and not even have to get in my head about it, because we're good at that, aren't we, Aqua? You guys are good at that. Won't even have to get in my head about it because I inherently spiritually know what is tangible to me and what is not. Sometimes conversations don't even have to happen, you know, endings just happen. We just walk away and we know it is contract done and dusted, no matter how fleeting, Aquarius, because it is just not, it does not energetically resonate. And that is okay, you know. I think we often stay in connection because of old dynamics and beliefs around needing to keep families together or doing the right thing or working on things and whatever the case may be, yeah? This new age of Aquarius that we are calling forth, that you guys are bringing in, is about instantly recognizing on a heart level, on an energetic level, who resonates with us and who does not. And it doesn't have to involve conflict in order to say thanks, but, you know, all the best for your journey. We can just walk away with love. Thank them for crossing our path, for what they brought into our life. You feel it. You will energetically feel someone that does not align or someone that does, you will energetically feel it. And you can do that from a safe, because our mind wants us to feel safe, when it comes to our heart. You can do that from you can use your energy body to safely gauge how someone makes you feel based on an energetic level. They don't even have to touch your emotions, so there's no harm, You can spend time with them, days, weeks, months, whatever the case may be. It shouldn't take years, but you can still open yourself up and have the freedom to experience trust, because this is what this is about. You can still open yourself up and experience what trust can be for you at any one point, so that it feeds back to you information that is right for you in the time. There's no point trying to fast forward a year from now, 2 years, 10 years from now. We're all bloody evolving and changing, how that connection might pan out. You have no idea. We all grow and evolve, and I'm sure no one ever starts anything thinking, yes, this is going to fail, I'm going to do it anyway. But we get in our head, about all the fears of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and we don't start based on a simple assumption of a fear that we've formulated a storyline already that doesn't exist. Keep ourselves safe, But you can energetically connect to an individual and get to know them without them being of harm to your heart, your emotions, without losing anything, You can feel it if you resonate with someone or not. And you can feel if they're ready to resonate with you at this level or not too. You'll feel deceptive behavior. You will want to walk away immediately the minute energy doesn't resonate. And you don't even have to invest your entire emotional body yet. I see I'm talking to Aquas that are wanting that. You want to give yourself mind, body, soul. You want to share a life, a home. You want to build a life, a business, a connection. You genuinely want to commit to investing in the growth of a spiritual union. That's what this is, a spiritual divine union, divinely guided union. That's what you're wanting. You're not wanting to hold back anymore when it comes to the Nine of Swords. You're wanting to commit to that thanks to the Ace of Pentacles. You're feeling hopeful, This is an awakening to some deeper principles about self, life, patterning, our views and limits when it comes to love, intimacy, trust, the dynamics and how love was modeled to us or not, how it's played out in our primary relationships, the relationships that have been our playground of learning, growth as we ascend into our old age, and what we want, and ultimately what we want to commit to and settle down with. I can keep going, Aqua. This is beautiful. In order, because I do remember now your last couple of readings have been about this, allow that old world to fall away, Allow the old to crumble away. You are leading us towards the new. This new, but there's still some processing here. When it comes to getting honest with yourself about your deeper relationships with trust and intuition, and how you've ignored it, how you have followed it, your conflicts when it comes to what you need to feel free. We are always free, Aqua, when we are honest. Because we can be honest in every single moment and say, this is not working for me. I'm looking for this. There is a lot of freedom that we feel on a mental level, a heart level. A lot of freedom that we feel consciously, spiritually, energetically, when we deeply embrace authenticity and we choose to be honest with self and bravely get honest with others. It is freedom. And you can do that alone. You can do that in connection, where you are giving your heart and deciding to commit to another. You are always safe, because at that point in the timeline, you are choosing to be honest. What do I want? Who am I? What can I offer? What am I willing to invest? Without creating storylines that span whatever, because that's a lot of emotional and mental weight. It doesn't exist. Neither does that. When it comes to the past, when it comes to that it is emotional and mental weight that does not make us feel free. And you guys are the masterminds of the mind. That is your task this month. In desperately wanting freedom, how have you kept yourself prisoner within your mind, which has been tasked all along to be your greatest tool of seeing clearly your path ahead, by seeing clearly the here and now, and all that's needed is honesty. There's a relationship here with your intuition that needs to be balanced and righted. Something needs to fall away there, where you haven't trusted your intuition. It's strong. It has always been strong, but you have also played a role where you don't allow it. Because this has been about the relationship you have with your intuition. It's not that you've never had it, but this is about where you have never allowed it to speak on behalf of your heart, where you've defaulted perhaps to your mind, rationing, being, being rational. This is all about your relationship with trust and intuition, and how you've never allowed your intuition to speak on behalf of your mind is what I keep hearing. You've never allowed your intuition to speak on behalf of your heart. Instead, you've allowed your mind to speak on your behalf. And that is the gift of the Lover's card, which is ruled by Gemini. Gemini season, we are going, Venus in retrograde is ruled by Gemini. There's something key here. There's a new beginning after an ending. Wanting a new beginning, wanting to trust again, wanting to love again, closing an old chapter so that I can do a refresh, a reset. A new relationship with love, trust, freedom, intuition. It is essential so that this new world of yours can come forward, Aqua. I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to title your video. Allowing your intuition to speak on behalf of your heart, maybe. All right, my dear, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you found some resonance in your message today. I hope you have a beautiful month of May, and I will see you in your next reading. Interesting to see how this unfolds. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.